I haven't actually looked at any sort of evidence or tested it for myself, but I don't know. If you're scrimming or if you're playing for real and you're just in the zone, it shouldn't make any sort of difference. But I mean, then again, fair play, all that. To be honest, for me, when this debate cropped up, I just immediately switched. The only female character I used was the queen, Mira, the Locust Queen.
The bitch?
Yeah, the bitch.
Oh,
The
come
queen
on.
bitch, the worst. So I just quit her as soon as this debate came up.
My
You wish-
problem. Oh, anybody?
Ooh, whose turn is this? My turn?
You can, if you want to go,
Go.
go.
No, man. I don't know. I don't. feel
Yulia, I
like-
want to hear you speak.
I
Go.
don't feel a difference with them. Like I know it's there, but I mean the only time we ever had an issue was Crream and I were scrimming, and Crream point blanks the chick character twice, and I'm looking at it, and it's just like two big point blanks, and she just eats it, just chunks him, and I'm just like, is that because some of the ammo or the shotgun went a little bit to the left, or to a little bit of the right? Like it's the only time I ever saw it. But other than that, you know, when you're lancering them or like pistoling them, I actually don't have an issue with it. Like I really don't. I don't see it.
Oh,
Go
damn
ahead,
it!
Ken.
Went to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I don't have
We'll get used to this with more practice. Anyway, my problem with it is that, say you're in a 1v1 and there is this hitbox thing is true. What if somebody just wins the fight because their character is just a little thinner and that one bullet that was supposed to hit misses and they don't get chunked and then you do? Like they basically won just because of a character, and it's just like, I don't know. Like everybody should be on the same, level of playing field.
Right.
The more consistent things, the better.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say that they shouldn't be banned when there's so many other rules that have been put in place in other games. When you say, hey, okay, well, what have they done with other games where there's been a difference? It's always been, hey, those guys play with the same characters. There's no changing. Everybody's the same. I mean, I don't know.
I can think
I
of
would
a good
prefer
example.
that. I mean, obviously Halo is the big one. There's female Spartan, male Spartan, and then the elite characters or whatever. Everyone is the male Spartan. That's just staple rule.
Well, yeah, that's because the female throws a little, closer. She doesn't have as good enough arm. Her accuracy's decreased. This is all just a joke.
Yeah.
Well, I actually thought you were serious for a
That's
second.
sexist.
No.
I was like, really?
No, that'd be funny as shit, though, wouldn't it? They were like, oh, she's a lesser being.
Oh man.
Did you guys ever play GoldenEye back in the day with your friends? And
Oddball?
did you ever have the
Odd
GoldenEye?
job, then. son of a
Odd
bitch.
job.
You can't play as Oddball.
Oh my god, that was the worst.
Oh my God, he did
Son,
not
and I
just
think-
bring that up.
Yulia, I think what you said has some merit. Now that you mention it, every time I've seen like a serious shot eating go down, it's always been a chick.
Shit.
Always.
Yeah. It always.
Always.
So, are you guys saying that we need to make our chicks fatter? Like, would that
Yes.
be the great solution?
No, it's not fatter,
Anya
it's
has
thicker.
completely
It's
let Dawn
thicker.
let
It's
go
thicker.
of herself.
Thicker.
She's got like twins on the way.
They need to be
man.
thicker, not fatter. Thicker.
Okay. So they just need to
Yeah.
work out. That makes sense to me. Makes complete sense.
Oh man.
Might look a little weird, but
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
of Odd Job right now, running around just slap chopping everybody.
Slappers only.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Hilarious. That was the worst.
But in all seriousness, though, the sniper is a pretty big weapon in this game because hit detection is a lot better, and I feel like for female characters they have a distinct advantage when in cover, and you have a sniper rifle. And as opposed to if you're the Locust and you have one of those characters, I think that it should be fair. I mean, in all honesty, everyone is not going to be Mira. They don't have different skins for Mira, so it's not like you're going to have different ones running around. So I would honestly like to see them either restricted like Hype is doing, or not in competitive play at all.
So is Hype like
agree.
restricting them as no female players?
one
No,
per
they are
team.
restricting
one.
it in the sense that, one per team, because there's only one female character on the Locust being Mira, so the other team can't pick 4 different ones. They can only use one.
I mean, I think at the very least it merits some testing to see if there really is anything there, but I don't know. I really don't. I don't think. I mean, the eating's one thing, but just get them out. Anyway, moving forward.
Moving forward, let's
Who we got
talk
next,
a
Crream?
little bit about Hypestation coming up, because I know it's now only a few weeks away. Yeah, it's Gandhi's little commentating baby.
It's my baby. Yeah, I was getting ready to say it's my baby.
Let's talk, because I know it's now 32 teams at it.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to start it off, because that's your thing.
In the heart of Newark, New Jersey.
The dirty. So basically what it is so the 16 teams who attended Hype, I do believe they all have invites going back, or they decided who gets an invite to the tournament for the top 16. And then for 17 through 32, there was online qualifiers for it. We have, I believe, either one or two European teams or a handful of European teams coming over to compete in this in the lovely city of Newark. So if it's their first time, they're not going to think the best of the United States. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point.
That's the worst introduction, New Jersey.
Yeah, right?
Hey.
But so I believe, I'm not sure what the format is. I believe they have banned TDM, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
just King and
so then in my head, how it's working is we're deciding on our third King of the Hill. Right now we have, oh God, complete blank. I'm assuming Trenches, and then what's the other map? And Hotel? Is that going to be the other one or no?
Actually,
Yeah.
interesting.
No, no, no.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's
Right on.
something.
Gal
That's
Nation forums right now. They're voting what map to have as the other King of the Hill at Hype Station. Rustling
what-
is winning.
What's
Actually,
the two? Wait, is
good.
it Dry Dock Trenches?
It's
Yeah,
Rustlung.
Team Rustlung.
Yeah, it's Dry Dock and Trenches right now. Hotel and Rustlung. It's going to be between those two for the third map.
If there's no Silverback at Hypestation, I am going to be so upset.
Walking out.
To let you guys know, I voted Rustlung. So
Yes.
Where should I vote for? Like, being the guy I am, should I vote with, like, what's going to be more exciting?
The pit.
Like,
Rustlung.
as a caster.
Rustlung.
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 You're right.
Rustlung, you're going to
I'm-
love that.
I'm-
When that Silverback comes out, it's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the vote right now. The three maps are Hotel, Clock Tower, Rustlung. Rustlung is in first place with 40% of the vote, 38. Hotel has 37%, and Clock Tower is bottom feeding at 21%.
Do you actually have the link to that? I could put that in the chat here so they can all go vote on it.
Okay, my question is what actually is, like, I mean, I've done multiple casts on Hotel, and I actually like how King of the Hill on Hotel plays. I haven't done anything Rustling, so I can't, I'm going to be a little bit biased, but what's wrong with having 4 King of the Hills? So, like, winner's bracket round 1, you know, you have, like, Rustlung and Hotel, and then you do Dry Dock Trenches. What's wrong with 4? And then that would add to the 11 game types instead of just having 2 and then, or 3 and then 8 execution maps, because some of the execution maps suck. Like, Dry Dock execution, don't, like, come on.
I gotta say
Hey.
something. I just gotta say
Really?
something about this, because like I've been talking about it ever since I saw the Hypestation settings. In Gears 1, we had 6 maps, and it worked. It worked. Gears 2, didn't we only have 6 maps again?
6 maps.
6 maps, and now Gears 3, we have 8 and 3 King of the Hill? How does that happen? How? Why?
Hey.
like
Kenny, you
somebody
know,
stepped up.
you messaged me about that, but I couldn't really talk to you about it. But yeah, man, I feel you exactly on that. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, you know, once, and it was KC that kind of brought this to us. He said something along the lines of, we need 11 maps. You guys need to find out the best 11 competitive maps out there. And, you know, this is way back before people really started testing King and TDM. And at the time, it was like, well, almost all the maps work on execution. So it's like, well, yeah, we know almost all of them work, but we got to narrow them down. And nobody wants to be the one to say, no, we can't use this map, because everyone has a certain map that there's their, you know, that's their bread and butter. It's their favorite map. So I don't know. I think it's a little messed up right now that we have 8 goddamn maps.
Yep. I mean, assuming TDM works, then you could have, you know, you could have your 6 execution, your 3 or 4 maybe, or your 3 King of the Hills, and then, what is that, 6, 9, and then you need 2 more, 2 TDMs. That's not bad. It's not a bad rotation.
Yeah.
But TDM sucks, so we got to accept reality. I say 4 King of the Hills. I have no problem with Hotel or Rustlung. Clock Tower is all right. I mean, I think it's more exciting than if it was me. Like if I could have my way, I would have 6 King of the Hills and less Execution, personally. But I
Well,
love
as a
King of the Hills.
caster,
Yeah,
naturally, it's just faster.
Well, come on, what happened? How awesome was that?
It was pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, a few things. Number one, the current rotation with the King of the Hill kind of being there but not in the spotlight is kind of like a compromise. I feel like because a lot of the top teams really don't like King of the Hill. I don't know why. I actually really like it. I know you guys really like it. But
Yeah.
we're all men of thought. We just, we think about things. We try things. We don't just look at something and write it off. So, try
Yeah,
King of the Hill.
We're pulling teeth for the people that don't know that. Within the former pro teams, some of the top teams, it's really like back and forth on just agreeing to try to make gears more accessible to people. I don't know why it has to be so difficult, but it is just gruesome, and some people just don't get it.
And
Yeah.
this may be a little out there. It's kind of it deals with game types. But Kale, you remember this because we used to play back in the day, and games like Unreal, and actually it's how they do it in StarCraft right now. Most tournaments, from what I understand, you pick the maps that you play, and then so like Team 1 picks their map and their game type, Team 2 picks their map and their game type, etc. You understand where I'm going with this, Kale?
Yeah, I
do you
know where
think?
you're going. I don't.
Seems the fairest to me. And
I
it
don't
adds a nice little
I mean-
metagame.
For the people that have been to eBash did that. So, I mean, they've always done like old school stuff like that. So it works. But they also did a strike rule. So, you could pick your maps, but they will actually be in the reverse. So you didn't pick yours, but you struck. So it was like, oh, you think this team is good at this? We're going to strike this. And it was kind of the same kind of little metagame. I don't know. I don't think that really applies anymore because MLG's been doing it this way for so long. You know what I mean?
Right, but I mean, times changed. And I mean, but this was how we used to do it back in the day, and this is how they do it in most PC games, and it works just fine for them. I don't know.
Hey.
We really kind of just eliminate
I don't know.
issues like this.
Here's what I like about getting kind of back on topic with King is just the excitement factor. Every time I've watched a major stream so far and it gets to TDM or execution is usually between, again, those teams that don't quite know how to finish out a map once they have advantage, play the game. Numbers always drop. And we're in this time when like streaming numbers matter. Everyone wants to have the most streaming numbers. They want to say, oh, how did our stream do compared to Call of Duty? How did our stream do compared to, I don't even want to say StarCraft, but how can it, compare to XYZ? And every time we get to an execution map between two teams that don't know what they're doing or TDM, the stream numbers drop. Every time it's on King, the stream numbers either stay the same or they go up. That's what I've witnessed every single time. So for all the people that hate on King, and this is directly to some of those people because I hope they're in the stream right now in the chat, you guys got to look at the numbers. Please, for the love of God, put the pride aside. Just look at what excitement it brings to the atmosphere, to the community. That's what they want to see, regardless of whether or not it's the most competitive thing out there right now. That's what we have to do. And that's what I've been advocating for so long. And, our team has been getting a ton of slack for being the guys that, hey, we're trying to push these settings. We're not necessarily trying to push them. We're just trying to make it so you guys understand, like, this is where we're at right now. So I really would like to see more King maps. I would like to see TDM in there, but in all honesty, some changes need to be made for TDM to work. And I feel like King is now better with the indicator. So I don't know. Is Pete in the chat? Hey, Pete.
Yep.
Pete, if you could remove some of the hills, like Thrashball to me is the perfect King map. If you just take away that top hill in the far back of the concession area. If you just take that hill away and put that one that's up middle up top, that is the perfect King map. It has 4 different spots, or 5 technically, but it's just a great map. That's my favorite one, if you guys don't know. Pete, I know you guys can do it. I know you can do it, Pete. I know you can take one away.
They can.
Wields massive power.
You know, it's something
So-
about Thrash Ball. Like maybe it's just because I've done so many just grueling cats on it. Like as soon as it loads up, my mood goes from like up here to like instantly down
Yeah.
here, and I'm miserable. Like just instantly. It
Yeah.
just it's like mercy execution now.
Oh
Like
my
teams
God.
who are good, teams who are good who play it, fantastic. You know, you have the three guys that run in the church. Here comes the smoke. You know, fucking. You know, there's a meta game. It's awesome, fantastic. Teams who don't know how to play, ball talk. Stand off at the wine cellar, grab my ink grenade, whiff on my ink grenade, pull back, wait at the fucking.
You look
I mean,
aggravated right
I
now.
can say this firsthand because I did the King of the Couch, and like as everybody knows, the King of the Couch tournaments, it's more like local teams, minus like raw talent and the few people from Infinity and whatnot that go, but it's mainly local teams. And like we did Execution Mercy, and that was hands down the slowest execution map, and I didn't think that was going to happen because I'm used to when we scrimmed it was going faster, and then teams were just setting up 50-yard line, looking at each other, shooting at the walls, like getting actors ready, and like nobody was moving. Then 10 seconds, everybody runs in. Like it's
Oh, Pete.
Hmm?
Pete says escalation king.
Escalation King.
Oh my God.
Never.
That's not real life.
He was trolling.
Yeah.
All right, so I lost the topic what we were discussing, but so we decided Rustlung is the king of the hill to be voted.
Yes.
Correct.
Go
Definitely.
do it now.
Um,
If you had to
Nation.
pick, do it.
all right, so what does that leave on the agenda for us? The pro teams.
Oh yeah, definitely want to talk about the pro teams and everything's going on because I know since like Hyperstation was the last like major event where every pro team pretty much came in minus ZYN and I think who's
Raw
it?
Talent.
Raw Talent. Minus them, like everybody was there, and since then it has pretty much been chaos between the pro teams, and like I'm not even sure where all the teams even stand right now. Minus Infinity, they're the only team that stayed the same, I think.
I think I have a decent breakdown of it. So in case you've been like just don't even have Twitter or anything,
Got a link.
Predator has retired from competitive gaming. He was on the Insanes. May he rest in peace from competitive gaming. The Insanes have a completely new look. It is now going to be Killa, Wildebeest, who was on LTZ, which is less than 0, and they have Prison, God's gift to Gears of War 2. Coming back, he's back. They look really good. And then, so Nick Merckx, he left the team because he didn't really get along with Killa, and now he joined MBN. Now, as he joined MBN, it was him, Distortion, Prospect, and Jay Merckx. Everyone was like, oh, it's the God Squad. A lot of stuff came up with Jay Merckx outside of, gaming. He had to take a leave of absence. So then, they weighed their options, and then they picked up Fallout. Now, I'm going to pose this as a question. Fallout, good or bad addition? Starting with you, Lee.
Random edition. That is the most random thing ever. Because I never really pictured. It's like you picture Distortion and you picture Shane, and usually they always roll around with the same people, like Prison, Nick. Usually the Insanes and MBN just switch players. And that's all they do is just switch players. And then they come out with Fallout, and it was just like, what? Where did that come from? Like, did you guys just like start talking, hanging out, playing like, I don't know, Geometry Wars or something? It just like, it was the most random pickup. I think that was more random than us picking up Eric. Like, that was just random.
Cloud?
Well, to be honest, Fallout, he's got his good points and he's got his bad points. As we all know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Some of us have had dealings with Fallout in the past, and some of us have walked away feeling, not the best, violated even sometimes. So, I mean, there it is. But with that said, I have had the pleasure of teaming with Fallout, and he is a fantastic teammate in the game. He understands what needs to be done, and he just at a fundamental level. He's just a very intuitive player. I think he fits in well with MBN. I don't know how the attitudes go, but as far as play styles, I'm sure they can make it work
Arctic?
the way it should work.
I'm kind of like with Uleet. Like, to me, that came out of nowhere. So I think Fallout is a phenomenal player. I think he's smart. I think he can handle his own. I think that some of the things that he does not even outside of the game, but like some of the things that he has said in the past, and this is just old Fallout as opposed to new Fallout, have been really like controversial. And James knows, Kenny, you guys know, you guys know. But him as a player, I think that he could be a good addition to any team. It's just surprising based on how we know how NBN is, and like Uleet said, it's always been like a flop between NBN and Insanes on players. Like Fallout just is like completely out of left field, and when that announcement was made, it was like, to me, it was almost like when the Fathering had that little shakeup, and then Carson's was on their team, and I was like, what? Carson's is on the Fathering, and that lasted for like a day or whatever. But it was like, what? I don't know.
He's actually still on their team.
Is he?
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Really?
Is he really?
You're kidding.
Yeah, to me, that's just like my mind is blown by Carson's being with CDN, and to me, their personalities don't really mix well. They don't vibe. But CDN, I mean, he can get along with anybody. So, to me, it's just a surprising move.
CDN has got some young guns on his team.
Yeah.
Crream?
It's so, like, I don't even know what...
If you're just going to say random, I just won't sugarcoat it.
No, I mean, it's just, when I think personalities, and you got Distortion, who I have the pleasure of teaming with in the past when he had his infamous beat the shit out of a brick wall moment in Toronto of 08. No, Toronto 08. And, he snaps, and now I heard that it's different where he just goes quiet, but like it's still Distortion. Then you got Shane, who's like he just, he butts heads with like a lot of people. Like when you team with him, I've heard all the stories. Like, and you put Nick in there, which I see Nick fitting, but then you put Fallout, and it's just like completely different from the three of them. Completely different. Like I don't know. I'll see. I'm gonna see how it works. Obviously.
Yeah, I was most upset when Get Bronco, I think, like they weren't a team anymore, because I thought I felt like they were a really solid team and they could have made that work. But when that changed, it was just like, well, what is Fallout going to do now? And then he had, was it High Caliber? They were decent, and then he went from High Caliber to NBN. And it's like just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, this is how I look at it. Okay, like. Keep in mind, after Hype Fest, when all these team changes were going on, everyone was pretty much a free agent. Like, everyone on the market minus, like, ZYN, Raw Talent, and Infinity. I just want to know how you're like, okay. Like, I don't picture, like, Nick Merckx, High Distortion, and Prospect, like, sitting down and being like, okay, first choice, Fallout. I don't see that. Like, if I put myself in their shoes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, like, looking at the free agents, I'm like, okay, well, Prison's back. But will he be dedicated? So you have to question that. So that's no questions asked. But then you have like Wildebeest. It's like perhaps maybe Wildebeest would be a good fit. Then you have like I know a player like Wingos or anyone from Vision wouldn't necessarily leave the team. But if you could get your hands on one of them, I would say any one of those four would be a better addition than Fallout. Me personally, skill wise, I just feel like they just like grabbed a notebook and they're like, okay, Fallout it is. That's for me. I don't know. You guys can agree or not, but it looks crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't know. So seeing how that affected, so we got Insanes completely different. NBN completely different. Where's everyone else's rosters now? VVV, I know Vision and VVV's rosters. VVV is Emity,
Leon,
Monk, Leon, and
Vicious.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Who was their fourth before Vicious?
T-Myth.
T-Myth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Yeah. And Vision, Puff, Franchise, Wingos,
Affinity.
and
No,
Affinity.
it is Affinity and Knock.
Knock. What happened
Knock
to Wingos?
from Wingos. I guess they had some sort of falling out. I'm pretty sure Wingos is on Legacy now in place of Monster. It's now Excels, Wingos, Uno, and Mephisto on Legacy, I think. Don't quote me. I'm gonna look at the thread right now. Actually, I
Like,
linked in the chat.
what
Legacy is
so-
Mephisto, P. Dot, Excels, and Wingos.
Yeah,
that's
interesting.
crazy.
Convict, the coach of Vision says Wingos got dropped. So
Wingos drop.
there it is.
Okay.
And or left. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Thanks for clearing that up.
And then our team, I guess our team really hasn't changed. Here's our deal. So it's me, Skyless, Phobos, Cali North. That's been our roster since the beginning, I guess, of Gears 3. Before that, everyone always asks about my brother. Where's Orange? What happened to Orange? So my brother, he started school back in March, and he has not been gaming at all. I mean, he left his Xbox back home. He just doesn't want to be involved with it because once he starts playing, he'll get all into it, and it'll be just a complete distraction for him. But our issue right now is that Callie is also in school, and he also has a job, so our practice schedule is like completely messed up. So I don't know if at Hype we will have a different roster going to Hype because, the deadline is like a week before or something like that. Mm-hmm. But Cali North will probably not be at Hype Station. So our roster is still the same, but at Hype we'll probably have a different fourth. And after that, we shall see. So our roster has been the same. It's always been the same. I think the only other roster that has pretty much been unchanged from start to end is it Raw Talent?
And
Yep.
Yeah, Raw Talent and Infinity hasn't changed, right?
Infinity hasn't
In
changed.
the beginning,
Yeah.
Raw Talent didn't have Kirill, so.
No.
They did. No, they didn't. That's right.
No, well, that's...
They were trying Kirill's out for like a long time.
Yeah, it was like subbing for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess they just finally decided that was the right fit. So
Mhm.
it was like a very long interview process, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
apparently it's working for him.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not doing bad.
Well,
They work.
Someone just mentioned Infinity had genetics. That was like after was it Devastation?
No, I think I don't think that ever happened. I think the other Infinity, if you know what I'm talking about, popped up.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
that's what he's
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of.
B2.
Because at one point there were 2 Infinities.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, didn't Infinity go with Mind Tricks to Devastation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yes,
yeah, you're right.
Yes. Just remember that. Okay, I got somebody in the chat keeps blowing this up. J-Ribs Boom Coach. Pretty sure I know who that is. But it says, what does AR think about Atmo's antics on Gandhi's stream 4 days ago? He said when he died, he'd be able to say he was the best in the world at something. He talked about Hyphen as if it was already in the bag for Infinity.
Who Atmo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Gandhi talking right now?
Wow, Mike was My dog was going nuts. Dog was going completely nuts. So I was like, oh shit, I don't want to disturb the stream. So and now I forgot to re-hit the button. So that's my little skit as I try to save myself here. Let me talk about things Atmo says. Atmo despises everything and everyone. And I think that's just his personality.
Mm-hmm.
He insults Epic, he insults Prison, anyone who's in his way. I think that's just his personality. With that said, I mean, I like the controversy because it gives me like a story to paint, but is it over the top? Yeah. But I kind of like it. That's where I stand.
I mean,
Coming from someone who.
Yes, exactly. He is exactly like me as a player. So I can't not.
Oh man.
It'd be like hating myself. It'd be like
Here's the
looking
thing,
in
though.
the mirror.
You mellowed
Gandhi,
out.
you made it funny. He doesn't really make it funny. He's
No.
just being an ass. And there's a difference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
personally, I love Atmo as a player. I think he could do phenomenal things for Gears of War just based off of what he's done in the past, what he's done in the present, and then what I think he'll continue to do in the future as a player. But like he has to work on some type of personality skills to be personable with people in order to like, I don't know, just make it seem like he's not as brash and just doesn't give a fuck about people. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I don't know what his problem is with me. I think he hates me for some reason. I don't know, but every single event I see Atmo at, I go out of my way to walk up to him and talk to him just to see if he'll change. Every time, he just looks at me. Nothing. I get no response, no smile, nothing. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Abel loves me, man. We share bagels together. I don't know. We talk. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. But I know what you guys are getting at, though. He is really sometimes,
I think a lot of what he
Little
does is funny,
crazy.
to be completely honest. I'm
Yeah.
glad there's somebody that's doing something like that, to spice things up.
Yeah, we need
There's gotta be a
someone
bad
like
guy.
that. But and it's not like I said. It's not like he's like I hate Atmo or anyone who really hates Atmo. It's just like that's him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think we've all known him so long. We just know how he is. But I think some of the new people that come into the community that kind of look at some of what we say. I'm very, very careful now of what I say on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. I don't try to fuck up what I say. Period. And I think there's just like a different mindset with some people on how they handle certain things. And I think he's one of them. He just doesn't care what you think about him. He's just gonna say what he wants to because that's how he is.
Mhm.
And that's Atmo. 0 fucks. Not a one. Not a one.
That was actually 3 because you went like, but I think for me personally, like he can say whatever he wants to about like players and everything. I think as soon as he like puts down this grudge he has against Epic for like taking away like another season of gaming from him, I think once he can get over that and he like gives Epic a chance, then we'll be okay. Other than that, I say let it be.
No, he wasn't the only one. We were all pissed at Gears 2.
Well, he's
Very-
still pissed about
Gears
Gears
2 doesn't
I'm
Still
in
exist.
pissed
Gears
about
3.
Gears 2.
Yeah,
Like,
that
all
never
of
happened.
us are still pissed about Gears 2 because that was just a debacle of a multiplayer game. Just, I don't even want to get on it because we could talk about that shit all
Oh my
night, and
God.
people would and the chat would blow up, and people from Epic would be kind of mad, but they can't really be mad because they know it's true. It's like, that's just another topic for another day.
Yeah.
Just puts a bad taste in my
It's-
mouth.
it's just
Bad
moving
taste in
forward.
the mouth.
Bad memories with that.
Uh,
God.
I played.
We had Crazer in the chat brought up a good idea I did not think of bringing up tonight. The whole stopping power issue. And if it's actually hurting or helping the game.
Hurting.
Anybody else? You all look
Ah.
confused right now.
Before,
It's
I would
definitely hurting.
I would like an explanation from
Well-
the art Uleet on this.
Okay, Gears 1, there was no stopping power. And pretty much to stop a player, you needed like precise team fire. And it just made for more teamwork and just better gameplay. Gears 2, which we don't want to talk about, was when stopping power was first implemented. And because the game was so bad, it wasn't really looked into like stopping power was one of the causes, even though I thought it was. And I guess it really wasn't changed from 2 to 3. They wanted to keep it because I know Epic loves their things that are like original. They just love it. And now in
Like
3,
Flag.
with the Lancer being so strong already, like just so ridiculous, and stopping power,
right.
you can't move. It's just
Why does it have to be both?
In the reload buff?
Oh god, the active
God.
reload on that thing is ridiculous. It's like a minigun.
So
Now you mention it, like, how did this happen? It seems like too many things to overlook, you know? Do you
I'm
disagree?
trying to I don't know. I just there's so many things that I feel like why did they change from Gears? Why would you mess up a good thing? Like I don't know. There's just so many different issues from Gears 1 to Gears 2, and why it's and I hate to say like that always happens, but that always happens with every single game. Halo 1 to Halo 2, Halo 2 to Halo 3, Halo 3 to Halo Reach. Every single game, there's always changes that piss people off.
Yep.
And this is just one of those things, stopping power. I think that they wanted it to be easier, bottom line. They wanted it to be easier. They continue to want it to be easier for people to get involved in the game, period. That is all that, I don't want to say that's all that they care about, but I think that is all that matters now when you have games like Call of Duty that can pump out the same goddamn game
God.
over and over and over again, but it's easy, and people like that. And I think stopping power was something that is like, okay, these guys are running around and teams aren't coordinated enough online or players aren't, rather not teams. Players aren't coordinated enough online to say we need to get 2 or 3 or 4 lancers on this guy to stop him before he comes around and one shots us with a shotgun. So that change, that mentality, like, okay, the shotgun is overpowered, they're running all around, just dominating with the shotgun, is what triggered that, and it kind of spurred from people on the forums. As much as, and this is, if you look at it, as much as we complain about stopping power. If you go back 4 years or whenever it was, when did Gala 3, 2008? 4 years when the game came out, you see people on the forums complaining about shotgun use. People running around, my Lancer isn't doing anything, how, what can we do? So it's like we need to figure out something to stop the people that are hardcore players from complaining. And then you get to Gears 2. Well, Gears 2 had ragdoll, had stopping power, had a ton of glitches, all that stuff. But you look at each time, it's usually the hardcore community, not the casual community, that asks for these changes. And then they get changed, and then they go, oh, shit, well, that was a bad idea. And then they try to get it unchanged, but the stopping power was, for all intent and purposes, it does help out newer players. So, again, I think it's just a matter of being something that appeases to casual community. Never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the
There's more of
Lancer,
them.
I think with the Lancer, the way it is now, though, like, you could easily stop the shotgun, like, without the stopping power. To be honest, I mean, blind fire Lancer just cuts through people. The only reason it even came up to my knowledge was because Crream, I did like a 2.5 hour long cast with him, and every chance he got, oh well, 2 Lancers on him, might as well not even fucking play. This guy's definitely going down. He stands no fucking chance here. He's got 4 Lancers, 1 guy. Fuck it, just start quit, man. Don't worry about it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I'm like trying to paint a picture here, like he can win. He's like, oh no, but he can't. There's 2 Lancers. Nothing you can do. Nothing.
But it was true every time. He was done every time. Nothing he could do.
Yeah, what's that?
It breaks my heart when I see a shotgun fight or anyone, and they'll rather strafe backwards spraying a Lancer than pull out a shotgun, and it works. It's like, oh god,
So good.
it's heartbreaking.
It's that Call of Duty, man.
Oh,
Yeah, all we need nuts is like a death cam.
that,
And
that,
Oh
that
my
would
God.
well, that would actually be
that would
awesome.
Perfect.
Don't say that.
That-
Thing
No,
that-
is-
no, I'm actually gonna like send Quinn a tweet and be like, hey, look, man, this is what we want. We want a shit ton of guns in the game, but we want one to be by far the best that everyone uses. And then also, get this, we want nothing to be picked up on the map, and you just spawn with the shit. That's it. That's it. So you could like have a character where you just start with boom shot, fucking
Oh,
ultra
God.
skillful.
Like beast mode.
Beast mode.
One of the things that I think that, and this is why I can't really hate on stopping power. I mean, I don't like it, but I can't really hate on some of the newer elements to Gears of War to bring in more casual players, because even with all of this stuff, because Gears of War, and I'm not going to say it's better than any other game or that it takes more skill than any other game, because you guys know, I mean, we all play, so we can gauge it without necessarily saying it, but for a new player to enter Gears of War and try to get involved with the community, or just pick it up and try to play multiplayer, try to play King, try to play Execution, with that hardcore list. I mean, the skill gap from just starting to play to getting decent is so huge. It's so huge, and I think a lot of times we take that for granted. Like, it is so hard, and you guys don't know. Like, I have people that just ask day in and day out on things that you would be like, how do you not know how to do that?
Yep.
How do you not understand that? What part of this don't you get? And it's just really that difficult to them. They're not used to that. So as much as I hate some of the new things that they put into Gears 2 and and Gears 3, they make it better make it easier for those players, but at the same time, it's not good for competitive play. And that's the two things that are really conflicting that I've learned, doing QA for different companies now, what their mindset is, testing this game, just being involved with the competitive community. There's just so many different aspects that I think we take for granted being good necessarily at gaming than other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that there was a way around. It would be nice to be able to turn stopping power off, just to see how it plays again. You know what I mean?
Like a toggle for it.
Like a toggle for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see it.
I mean, it's
Only-
possible. The one other thing that I would like to see that I think might actually help the game with the rifles is I know it's in the Unreal Engine, and I know they actually turned it off for the hammerburst, is for when weapons, the longer distance, they do less damage. And they have it all off on all the weapons, I'm pretty sure, because it was on the hammerburst, and in the recent update I saw on the details, they turned it off to make the hammerburst stronger. Now, if that was on, you couldn't just sit a mile away with a Lancer and hold a team down. They would actually be able to move up a little on you. And it would actually help everything play out a little faster. That's just my opinion. I think it would work.
No,
I mean,
here's one thing I want to talk about. Well, James, you didn't even say what you wanted to say about South. Go ahead.
It was a little quiet.
To be honest, I just want to hear. I forgot. Go ahead.
James.
Don't do it, James. Don't do that.
James is baffled right now as to what is being said because we're just taking the words from his mouth and saying them for him.
Right.
That's all it is. He's enjoying.
You guys
was
are
just
pretty
gonna
much. I mean, everything that's needed to be said has pretty much been said. I mean, at this point, I'm willing to try anything different with the Lancers. I mean, just to keep things moving, because honestly, nobody wants to watch Rifle Wars. They want to watch Gears of War. They want to watch, fast movement, like Epic Games. They make the Unreals. I want something like that. Unreal's one of my favorites.
Well, what about Fortnite? Fortnite is about to.
Fortnite?
All right, so look.
No comment.
We
Just
can cut the gravity, or we can up the gravity, or cut it, whichever one makes you jump higher. We can add a jump button into Gears, and then you can have Unreal. And then, they can do the same thing that Halo did. And then for the fourth game, like fucking everyone just go on like a year-long binge drinking fest and just do a shit ton of drugs, and then be like, all right, I got this. Let's come out with Evade, Sprint, jetpacks, and Big fucking Bloom for no reason. That's exactly that's like the progression. You go to like more like an Unreal Engine, and then you get all that other random shit.
oh my god.
No, here's
That
what
actually
Kenny
probably
said
is
that I
how
was
that
gonna
happened.
say. Yes, they are. But what do you guys think? And we've always fought against this. Now that we know that it really messes up the game, but MLG and Epic have stressed that they want to not ban, all the rifles and all the weapons. How do you guys feel about the Hammerburst? I just played, to let you guys know, today I played a match. It's been a while since I've seen all Hammerburst, to let you guys know. But I played a ranked match against all Hammerburst. Couldn't fucking move. Nowhere. Nowhere. I couldn't move. It was 10 times worse than the Lancer. I could not move. Couldn't move. Bap, 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 down. Mod, down. Bap, 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 down. Couldn't move.
It's
So what do you guys think about that?
Pretty much saw that coming, to be completely honest. I don't understand. I mean, that was, all right, it sucks to go back to Gears 2 again and relive the nightmare, but at the beginning of Gears 2, they used the Hammer Burst also. And it was as bad as Gears of War 2 developed to be, it was never at a lower point than Meadowlands 2009.
I don't want to talk about
where the Hammer
Meadowlands.
Burst
I don't want to talk
as
about
a
it.
weapon.
I
So
can't hear Chris spew about this again.
let's learn from the past.
No, see, someone asked if I wanted it. No,
Cream is
no,
all raw
no,
talent.
no, DeFace. I did not want the Hammer Burst. I was testing the Hammer Burst because MLG and Epic want that all weapon stuff to be in there.
Yeah.
You have to learn the difference. I am all for making whatever works work, but I am not for breaking the game. I don't want a broken game. The Hammer Burst, for all intent and purposes, I'll test it all day long. I'll give you feedback because that's what I do. I can do that, no problem. But do I think it works in competitive play? No.
No. I hate it. And my biggest pet peeve with it is it's called a hammer burst, and it doesn't shoot in bursts. Why is it still called a hammer burst? I don't know if I'm the only one that has a problem with that, but
Called the hammer burst
drives me
because
nuts.
You can mod your controller to 3 bursts.
yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
we've been through the hammer burst issue, like Meadowlands, and it's something I wish I could just wipe from my memory because my team got abused and violated, and It was terrible, but I, I know we're trying to make all weapons work,
No.
like the Retro Lancer, the Sawed Off, and the way the Alpha playlist is right now with this pickups, it kind of works. It's not terrible because there's only one or two, but I mean, teams don't really go out of the way to get them right off the bat. But then again, we haven't really tried it like the top teams, and that's what I want the top teams to start doing. Like when I brought up King of the Hill Rustlong at like the King of the Couch, and I know I asked Colin, and I believe I asked you too, about should Rustlong be used and how it is, and everybody flipped out. They're like, Rustlong, what are you talking? He's got a freaking silverback. I'm like, just try it. Just try it. Stop flipping out and just try it. We're not going to know if it works at that level until we do it. It has to be tried.
And that's the mindset that I have. Like, you don't know unless you test it. And if you're not going to take the time to test it, then you don't really care about the game, in my opinion. You only care about yourself. Mm-hmm. That's how I personally feel. You don't care about the community. You don't care about whether or not the game stays on the circuit. All you care about is yourself. If you're not going to take the time to test it.
Damn. There it is.
That's the honest truth.
Yeah. You got anything to say, Yuli? You've been quiet.
Yo, I'm just saying, man, if they want all the rifles, and I'm cool with all the rifles, like, they all have their own traits, they all have their advantages, disadvantages, but they just need to lower the damage. Just one good update, just whoop. I know they're assault rifles. That's their argument.
Mm-hmm.
They're assault rifles. They're supposed to hurt. You're supposed to get killed by them easily, but it's just not Gears, man. Gears supposed to be fast paced. Like, I don't know. It kills me.
Yuli, if you lowered the rifle damage, would you also lower the shotgun damage? Or would you lower? Oh, wait. Would you lower the active shotgun damage?
Yes. I mean,
okay.
If we have to, yes, that's fine.
Because I feel like we all know what the hell is wrong with the game, from our mindsets. But active shotty is like
brutal.
Like Gears 2, like you can shoot them like 2-shot from halfway across the map and they go down.
Oh, the TU6. Oh god.
TU6, yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the Lancer though. Like the active damage boost is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not like it's hard to get the active reload.
No.
Like, I mean, I haven't even played the other Gears, but I can get it pretty much almost. Maybe if they put it like further down.
Yeah.
But then it's still fucking pointless. I think you get rid of it just entirely. Just get rid of the stopping power. Then you just nerf the shit out of the hammer burst and retro. Like there's just no way around it. And even if you don't nerf it and they go like MLG is like, all right, well, what we'll do is one person per team can use a hammer burst and one person per team can use a retro. That would just be the worst thing on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
Every map would suck.
I feel like that would just be trying a bit too hard to just. I mean, at that point, if it got to something like that, I don't know. I think the most beautiful thing about this, about competitive gaming, about MLG to me, is just the sanctity of the game and being the most competitive it can be. And I feel like when you add in things like that, just in the hope that you're gonna get viewers because people want to see people getting retro charged in a championship match, I think that's a little bit of desperation.
Well, when we were at AJ Halo, I overheard some guy that just came it was his first event, and he was like, how come I can't use the hammer burst? I really want to use it. It's my favorite weapon. And that kind of puts in the argument of, having all those 3 rifles in. And, letting people play with what they want to play with. And that brings it back that the weapons have to be tuned. They really have to be tuned. And because, you would hate, I mean, that's what brings people in. Like, I hate to say this. I know everybody's going to, like, stab me, but, like, in the fashion of StarCraft, StarCraft out of the box playable. That's what they want to play, right? That's what everybody wants from Epic. They want Gears to be out of the box competitive and out of the box, playable for anybody else. And that's pretty much what they're trying to do. But they need to fix the rifles. Or are you just going to sit there and just with the hammer burst? That's the only gun to use now, right? Lance is good, but you might as well, if you're playing rank, you're going to use the hammer burst. That's it. That thing is just destruction, man.
And here's the other thing, and I gotta let the chat know this. I gotta let you guys know this. We played a game with this is way back on the beta, and we played a game with one of the developers And we happened to get teamed up against Monster, Nick, Prospect, and might have been Jay. Anyway, all pro players, right? And so Monster, thinking ahead of time, told them to all use Hammerburst, right? So this is on the beta. This is a developer that has never seen this level of play ever from this caliber type of players. He couldn't move. He could not move. And he told me, and he told Skyless, after he had that experience, he then understood where we were coming from. So it's not that they don't want to tune it. I think it's that they don't understand. They need to see that when we go into a rank room and we use Hammerburst, we ruin the damn experience for everyone else in the game because you can't move. And they don't understand that. They don't comprehend that we break the game by having that in there. Yeah, we're a small minority. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. I get all that. But it's game breaking. And I don't think they'd have the testers. And there's no knock on any tester because I know I've worked that. I know it. But they don't have that caliber tester or set of testers that can prove that it breaks it. So, I wish that somehow either through MLG or whether we could do it. I don't know. I wish that there was some type of committee that MLG could sanction to go to some of these places that use shooters and just say, hey, let us sit down for a week and try to break your game because I guarantee we can do it faster than your current testers in certain situations. Because testers have they have a certain list of things that they benchmark and look for, and they don't necessarily test the certain type of stress test environments that we would. So I think that would be something very interesting to see that from our standpoint. Could we get that change if we sent us five or another group of players or Infinity or whoever to a studio and say, hey, let us try to break your game. Let me show you why this gun doesn't work. Let me show you why this is overpowered. Let me show you this. You guys try to play against us and see if you have any fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that brings up the whole, casual competitive debate. Because they do stuff like that, like the Hammerburst and the sawed-off and all this, and they leave it the way it is because majority of testers, I mean, to be honest, are like casual gamers. They don't play at that high level. I'm not saying they can't, but they just don't. They just run around and have fun with it. And then you give it to us, and we do it, and it's one of the most abusive things you can use.
Right.
I mean, I remember we had this debate, and it was in Raleigh. We were outside with Quinn, and outside of Jimmy John's, I think. Were you there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
Kendall.
I was.
Yeah, Kendall was there. And
We
we
all
were
were.
talking about this, and Quinn brought up a good point, even though I didn't like it, but it made sense what he said. Michael Jordan doesn't go to the NBA and say they need to raise the hoop because it's too easy for him to dunk. That's what he was trying to say, and I told him that. But I was like, the Hammerburst works for the casual community, but you put it in our hands, and suddenly it breaks the whole game.
Right.
Like, you can't move. You can't do anything.
So I think that there needs to be some type of leeway, some type of middle ground, and I think it's like right now it's too extreme. Like, I mean, in all honesty, and I initially thought that there was going to be a cap, like a serious cap on the rate of fire of the Hammerburst, and it's like that shit is non-existent. Like, where was the cap? Where is it? I don't know where it's at because I haven't seen a cap on that or the pistol. So I don't know.
The pistol only
Fast as you can shoot.
locks on a crappy connection.
Yeah, I know. When I was there in Raleigh, they said that they put some, I don't know, code in there that would pretty much, if you shot too fast, that it would jam up, and that they actually bought evil controllers and stuff like that to make it work. But then when the game came out, it was just either you didn't have the jelly pistol or you did. That was it.
Yeah, what he actually said is he made it sound like there was a specific cadence to shooting the pistol that you needed to master.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like if anybody's played Call of Duty 2, like the Garand, how if you got that down, like the rhythm, you just could shoot the whole clip immediately. Yeah. But as we can see, that's really not the case because if you're in a laggy connection as opposed to host is as fast as you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of host, Kenny, can we talk about host advantage?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
This is a good one.
Host advantage.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you from watching LAN gameplay and casting it, host Lancer, active, just you get ruined, dude. It's not even like take a thing from like Kenny's book, but you literally stand no chance.